Hey you guys, let's make some fancy donuts using a cake mix. We're gonna make a gingerbread cookie, a s'mores, and then we're gonna make a lemon pistachio. I think these are kind of fun, elevated flavors that come together quick. To make the base recipe, you're gonna need any kind of cake mix you want, and for the 3 variations we're making today, you need a chocolate, a lemon, and a spice, and we will mix the spice one up a little bit. But they all follow the same base recipe, so starting with the liquids, it's just gonna be a 1/4 cup of melted butter, and 1 large egg, a 1/2 cup of sour cream, and this just makes it nice and moist and dense, because if you use just a regular cake mix recipe, it's going to end up being too fluffy, not really the texture we're going for. And then a 1/2 cup of water. And so what I do first is I just give this all a whisk just to break the egg up, combine the liquids. And once that's nice and smooth, then you're just gonna come in with whatever cake mix you want and add that in. And we're just gonna mix this until it's smooth. This is a super simple recipe. And you guys, I don't know why, I'm very attracted to recipes that use a cake mix, and I think it's just because it takes some of the ingredients out. It's kind of funny because it's not really like so much simpler, but I think just having that one shortcut, when you look at a recipe, you're like, oh yeah, I can totally do this, just a few ingredients. So I'm just gonna mix this until it's completely smooth. Now it's nice and smooth, and you guys can see it's a very thick batter, and that's the way it should be. So again, once it's smooth, we're gonna come in with a gallon bag, and you could use a piping bag, but you do need quite a bit of room, so I'd almost recommend a gallon bag over a piping bag. And just folding it open, and now I'm gonna dump this batter in here. Okay, so now that it's in the gallon bag, I am gonna snip a hole in the corner, and this stuff is pretty thick, so I'm probably gonna cut off maybe like a 1/2 inch up the bag. You need a decent sized hole to get it out of there, and just to make everything flow faster. And then you guys, you do need a donut pan. Now if you don't have a donut pan, you could use a cupcake pan, although then these are gonna start to turn into cupcakes and not donuts, but anything will work, or any sort of pan will work, small pan. And I am going to start by just giving these a spray. You definitely want to spray these, they will stick. So give them a good spray, and I'm just using Pam. You could use baking spray, but Pam does work just fine. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to fill the cavities. And when I'm filling the cavities, you guys, you don't want to overfill them because this will puff up. So to fill the pans again, I'm not filling them all the way full. I'm just going to make a quick ring around there and then just stop. It's not too precise, and this is some pretty thick batter, so just be careful not to put too much in there. It will spread as it bakes. And we'll just pop this little guy down here, and there we go. It is ready to head into the oven. Okay, so the donuts have come out of the oven. They bake at 350 degrees, and it's gonna be about 15 to 18 minutes. You can check when they spring back when you gently push on them, or a toothpick will work as well. So what you're gonna do is just let them cool for a couple minutes, and these have cooled for a couple minutes, and then you're just gonna dump them upside down, and they all popped out because I greased my pan. And you guys will notice sometimes, now these ones have pretty good holes in them, sometimes you fill them too full and the holes will start to close. It's not a big deal because they still have the donut shape on top, but obviously you can kind of play around to get the right amount in each. For this s'mores donut, I'm going to take, and this is going to be kind of a multi-step assembly. So I'm going to take the donut, and it is cooled. They're slightly warm, but that won't matter for this first step. And I made a simple ganache. This just has a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream and a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. You can use any chocolate you have. And you're just going to heat it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and stir till smooth. And you're going to come in and you're going to dip your donut. And you want to go fairly deep into the ganache, okay? And then you can let any extra come off. And then what we're going to do to give it that graham cracker vibe, we're going to come in, and I have about 2 tablespoons of melted butter here, and maybe not, a tablespoon and a half. And I'm going to add some graham cracker crumbs. And you guys, this doesn't have to be exact, but I will try to put, or I will put some measurements below if you're needing some baseline to go off of. And the butter is important. The reason we mix butter with graham cracker crumbs and we don't just use graham cracker crumbs is because they will get stale and they'll lose that crunch. So we want it to stay nice and yummy and crunchy. So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'll just dump it onto the plate here. And what I'll do is I'll just take my donut here, and I just want to run the edge. I want to leave the top empty, but just run the edge of the ganache into the graham cracker mixture. Like so. And so that's what I'm going for. I want to leave a little bit of the chocolate on top, and I'm just going to go ahead and rim the rest of them. Marshmallow topping, all you're going to do is take your mixing bowl and put it over a couple inches of simmering water, and you're going to add egg whites, cream of tartar, and sugar, and you're going to cook that until the sugar dissolves. I then move it over to my mixer and whip it until stiff peaks forms. I check it halfway through to see how it's doing, and once it's completely stiff, I transfer it to a piping bag. Guys, I did a terrible job of getting this clip, but I just have a rose tip on my piping bag, and I'm giving a little squiggle effect there. You could do anything really with your piping bag, and then I come in with my torch and give it a nice golden brown color and that nice toasty flavor. And yeah, maybe this is a better angle. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing, just making little squiggles and then toasting them up. I thought it was kind of fun. If you didn't want to make the meringue, you could use marshmallows and toast those instead. For the gingerbread donuts, I used the exact same base recipe using a spice cake mix, but I did add molasses and ginger and cloves. The quantities will be down in the description box below, and I just bake those off like normal. Now it's time to finish up the gingerbread cookie donuts, and you guys, they don't have to be chilled by any means, but you don't want them to be hot from the oven, just warm, cool, whatever. Then I've taken about 1/3 cup of cookie butter, and I've heated it in the microwave for about 15 seconds so it's nice and liquidy. And all I'm gonna do is drizzle them in the cookie butter, and then I'm gonna come in with my sugar and spice blend, and this just has ginger, cloves, and sugar in it. And I made mine pretty spicy, but you can add more sugar and then it's not as spicy. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna come in, and I think I'm gonna make kind of a crisscross pattern, but you could do whatever you want. It drizzles really nicely. So once that's on there, then I'll just come in with my sugar and spice mixture, and I have my gingerbread cookie donut. For the lemon pistachio donuts, I used the base recipe with the lemon cake mix, nothing crazy. And here I am making a quick glaze. It's just powdered sugar, heavy whipping cream, and lemon extract. And you're gonna whisk that up until it's the right consistency. If it is too wet or too dry, add cream or add powdered sugar till it's the right consistency. And if you dip one donut and it's not really, either it's sliding off or it's too thick and it's kind of ripping your donuts, then either add cream or powdered sugar to make it work. Don't be afraid to switch it as you're going. I then just dip the donuts in, let a little bit drip off, and then I'm coming in with some chopped pistachios. And this part is totally optional, but I think it's kind of a fancier flavor pairing, and that's why I chose it for this video.